This is the Mohsin Mortgage Program with Sarah Mohsin. Mohsin Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550. And now, here's your host, Sarah Mohsin.
Great to be back here again, folks, and thank you for the phone calls. And always ask the question. It's all about keeping it simple savings. Ask for Sarah, the number 1-800-662-9550. How are you today, Pat?
Oh, I am very good. Happy Thursday to you, Sarah. And I'm glad that you mentioned that KISS, because I think that's very important. Keep it simple savings. And that is exactly what you folks do there at Mohsin Mortgage. You know, folks, they've been listening to us for some time now, Sarah. We're into our 8th year. And folks will finally say, okay, I'm going to call. I've been listening to Pat and Sarah talked about this latest program, 62 and over. That's a wonderful program. Or just checking to see, is your interest rate at the very lowest it can be right now? Or can you get rid of those credit cards? Or do you have equity that you didn't think you had? Or is your credit okay enough for Sarah to get you into a customized program? And people are, again, over and over and over pleasantly surprised, Sarah, at what you can do for them.
Well, I think that in life in general, we may go through the motions of not asking and just taking that no. And it's kind of like that job interview. You may go in and you may get turned down for the job, and for a while there you may think that it's about you, and it really isn't. It's not that you're not good enough. It just is not the right fit. And I've had some great conversations with our listeners, and I'm smiling because I remember one of our listeners years ago said, you know, Sarah, I just kept getting in God's way. That's just was the problem. If I just let it be, and if things happen naturally, which there is a reason why things will occur the way they occur, obviously. And the similar thing applies to your finances. And just because you were turned down maybe by someone else, a lender, whichever type of banking institution, you have to realize that we have actually created this company and built it in such a way that folks from all walks of life can get finance. It's not as if we are in the business of being exclusive in respect to leaving people out. That is not a part of our faith. That is not a part of our structure of how we are of service to our listeners, and we will work a way to make sure that you get approved. So we've had situations where you may have been turned down, and you're absolutely upset, and maybe angry naturally, and maybe your local bank, and it's because they simply can't say yes to you because their guidelines reflect that they have to have someone who has low debt and a higher income. It's not personal. It's just the way their guidelines are. For us, we have a higher debt to income ratio, so we can actually get you approved. So that no is irrelevant. It's all about asking the question and saying, okay, well, fine. Let's ask Sarah. Let's find out. Can we do something for you? And what's even better is this. We have different programs. So if there's difficulty in meeting mortgage payments for folks who are 62 years of age and above, typically that can be a problem because we are looking at fixed income. We may have debt. I have seen 30 to 40% of Americans who are receiving Social Security checks that still owe money for student loans, and that is getting taken out of their Social Security check. Imagine that. So I've said to homeowners, if you want to reduce the mortgage, if you want to pay off bills, we can do that for you. If you want to eliminate that mortgage and you're 62 years of age and you just want to live in the home, we have a government-sponsored program that can get you there. If you want to buy a home, we'll get you a wonderful realtor on the ground, find you properties of your choice, and get you into a rate that is the lowest in the industry, because we're in wholesale lending. We have 50 wholesale lenders. We're not operating as just one bank with one rate, with just one way of doing things, because life doesn't work that way.
Certainly not. And right now, home values continue to rise here in the Boston, New England area, as well as in Florida and many of the other states that are desirable for second homes, Sarah. And I know you've helped people get their second home, their retirement home.
Yes, we have. We have. And that's fun, because then you can actually say, well, I'd like to have a second home, and I'd like to get a good rate, but some of these banks are giving me higher rates because it's an investment property. Well, we can certainly get you a nice low interest rate with low down payments versus what you would see in a lot of retail banks.
And Sarah, I know that there are signs that can be that actually start to show their ugly heads when there's some serious debt trouble, isn't there?
There are. I mean, the signs are obvious, and we've all encountered them if you've struggled with debt, and that's a part of my life in my 20s. So, there's stress, there's lack of sleep, there's arguments, and dread and despair because you just don't know how to survive it and how you're going to deal with it. And then if you're in a relationship, married, you're going to get into arguments. It's created a lot of divorces. And we really are all about keeping marriages together and certainly rebuilding and repairing. We've been able to do that and help the marriage and the relationship continue. However, in some cases, it doesn't occur. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, I've encouraged folks that instead of damaging the relationship during that divorce or the finances, to speak with me so that we can at least keep the finances stable and not damage what has occurred already, because it's just devastating, when you see a family break up. Mm-hmm. So I've encouraged folks to have conversations and certainly share with me privately what we can do to repair that relationship financially for you as well, because mortgage payment, bills, they're not real things in respect to what matters. Relationships matter. Marriages matter. What you're dealing with your child. If you stop talking to your child because maybe they have a car loan, you're arguing with them and you signed on and now it's hurting your credit. Well, we can easily pay off that car loan. We can reduce the mortgage payment. We can pay off any outstanding bills, and we can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars, which literally should be going in your pocket, not to your existing bank.
Mm-hmm. And so if you are on your way and you're feeling it, some of what Sarah just said there, don't allow the enemy to use this foothold to break up your marriage. Stop now, be transparent with one another, and find out what can you do to improve things. And Sarah, you have improved countless people's lives in their financial world. And when you can get on track together as a couple and mm-hmm. say, okay, we're going to work together through this. And, you may not be able to do it overnight, but that's okay. When you can have a dream together to get yourself out of the place you're at and then be able to move into buying your first home or whatever it is, what other dream that you have, dreaming together as a couple is hugely therapeutic and healthy for us as a couple. And I've heard it on our ministry said more than once. I mean, there are a number of things that make us a healthy couples, but that is one of them. And don't let your dream be stolen from you because maybe you haven't made all the right choices financially, or that you've been trying to pay something off on your own so you didn't have to disclose it to your partner. Become transparent. You fell in love and you got married, so be transparent with each other and work through these issues together. It will make you stronger as a couple and just stronger financially. And, if you need some advice on how to do it, I mean, you're very comfortable, Sarah, with talking with couples. In fact, you prefer that, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I encourage you to have that conversation together with me and certainly reach a decision together.
Mm-hmm. And again, if you'd like to see some more of Sarah's sage advice, you can go to wezeradio.com. You can click on resources, and then you will see some great information that Sarah places on our website, and it's available for you 24/7 to take a look at it, read through some of that. And if you just have a question about anything to do with your finances, anything to do with your credit cards or your credit rating or the student loans, Sarah is also the expert on, 401ks, and she shared a little bit earlier this week that for 2015, we're going to be allowed as seniors to put a little bit more in there. Is it as seniors, Sarah, or is that for everybody? They can.
That's for everyone. Can put away extra $500. Yes.
Oh, an extra $500, so up to $18,000.
$18,500. Yes.
So if you have any questions on anything to do with finances, Sarah and her brother and the fine folks there at Mohsin Mortgage, they know where to look for the information. If they can't answer right off the top of their heads, they will look for that information. And you may be pleasantly surprised. Yep, maybe you got turned down, and that feels so awful when you get turned down for credit or for rewrite or something at a credit union or a local savings bank. But Sarah often finds a reason to say yes, and if she can't say yes today, she'll say, here's what we need to do to get you into that yes territory. So Marita is saying it's time to wind down for today, Thursday, but let me again just encourage you to call Sarah and ask the question, whatever it may be, and their line is a free phone call, and it's answered 24/7, 1-800-662-9550.
Stay well, folks.
This has been the Mohsin Mortgage Program with Sarah Mohsin. Mohsin Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550.